got a full house today. But, so the joint budget and finance committee meeting and committee of the whole meeting is being called to order is Monday, October 9th. And the time is 3:36 p.m. Councilors, have you had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
Their motion for
I move
approval?
approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. The minutes from the last meeting have passed. Next, we will go on to consideration of the consent agenda. Councilors, do you have any items you'd like to place on consent?
Yes, ma'am.
Council Abbott.
I'd like to put on items 7, 8, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17, 19, and 20.
Okay, so those items were 7, 8, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17, and what did you say?
17, 19, and 20.
19 and 20. President Alexander, are you good?
I'm agree with that.
Okay. All right, is there a motion and a second?
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. The consent agenda has passed. If your item was placed on consent, you are free to go. First item is item number 4, and this is an agreement between the City of Birmingham and Rising West Princeton Corporation, Housing Development, Owner-Occupied Housing Rehabilitation. And it's in the amount of $24,000.
Yeah.
Second.
Looks like Mr. McDaniel's turned this in.
Oh, what, are there some questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Council Alexander, Council Abbott.
Starts with an A. I want to know about this $24,000. Now, it says that it's to do housing rehab and housing development. How do you do that with $24,000? Is that going to be used to leverage some other money to actually rehabilitate and develop new housing?
Councilor Abbott, I can't necessarily answer that question, but structurally, this funding is being put in place to assist Rising West Princeton with establishing a community development corporation. With that funding, they can not only do housing, but they can look at support services as well. To the extent of the additional funding that they need, this funding may help them with establishing their 501c3, where they can subsequently apply for funding, but I can't speak to that.
Oh, okay, so this is to operate a community development corporation, the money. It's not to fix housing.
Correct.
Okay, I just misunderstood. That was my only question.
Madam
I was
President.
thinking if they could renovate houses with $24,000, I want them to come to my house.
There's a motion in the second one here. Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Item number 4 passes. Next item is item number 5, which is an agreement under which SurveyMonkey will provide an additional 5 power users, unlimited casual users, and access to all platform features with the current annual subscription for 1 year in amount not to exceed $14,999.
Move the item.
Second.
Hey, how you doing? Good.
I'm Annette Harris. I serve as Deputy Director of Enterprise Systems, and I am still.
Do you need to get closer to the microphone?
You can sit down.
Maybe. Yeah, you can sit down with us.
Council Abbott.
Yeah, I had a lot of questions about this. Why are we doing this? What is a power user? Who is a power user? And what are we doing with SurveyMonkey?
So various departments use SurveyMonkey to poll our employees. HR uses it. We've used it a couple times on IMS about IT related questions we have for departments. The power users have a little bit more access to what they can ask, what kind of questions they can ask on a survey. And the unlimited licenses, like if you went to SurveyMonkey and you tried to sign up for a free account, all of that access that you have there, you would have under the city's license.
Okay, so the power users are not individual people, it's just a slot.
It's an admin, it's like an
Yeah, it's like an
administrator.
administrative slot.
Okay, but is it assigned to a person
It's assigned to someone at IMX.
Yes.
to assist
Yeah,
people
yeah,
with
you don't
their?
wanna give everybody admin rights, so you give it to a certain amount of people that
So we
can.
maintain the users, we get notified somebody wants access, we have to set them up in a security group, and then we, make sure that they get connected in and do some training and,
You don't want random surveys doing that without it being approved by IMX.
You don't? Okay, well, I just want, so the unlimited casual users would be what all the rest of us are.
yeah.
And we get access to all the platform features that are normal, and then the power users
They
get to
have the
do.
administration and they have maybe a couple other rarely used type of.
Okay. Thank you.
President Alexander, wait a minute, no, just yet. She has a question.
I've worked with a company that's used this before, so I just want to, just clarify for me. This is current annual subscription. How many power users do we have now? Is it an increase?
With that 5, it'll be 15.
It'll be 15. And what is the approval process, or is there one written per department for how you, typically with the organization I work in, you could create the survey, but it had to go up through a certain, number of reviews to be sure that we're within the company guidelines?
We don't have that spelled out, so once, we don't actually review most of the surveys that are put out. So we just maintain the users there.
So there's the trust there within the people that are getting granted the,
Right, it's
power.
mostly with HR, with our employee engagement per department, is they put out surveys about how they feel their department is working. It's just a tool for HR to make sure that we're engaging our employee base and they're happy with what's going on.
Thank you, because that's the area that I work in, so I just wanted to be sure how that's maintained and how that is managed. All right, thank you.
One more.
Yes, Council Abbott.
So any of us that wanted to do a survey,
You can
who would we call?
you send an email to the help desk and tell them that you want to have access to SurveyMonkey. And you would use your BirminghamAL.gov account to come up under our umbrella.
And then you just design it yourself with your own questions, and you're kind of sort of autonomous after you've gotten permission to use it, or?
At this time, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Just one final question.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
those guidelines for use, they're in an HR manual, and they're in an IMS manual. How would I know, just as a, someone working here, because something I'm not gonna use, in the role of counselor.
Yeah.
How would I know to get that information? Is that within admin?
We can work with the council administration.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Y'all ask good questions, I'm good. Is there a motion and a second? You did? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 5 passes. Thank you. Next item is item number 6. This is a consulting agreement to address homelessness and homeless prevention services for an amount not to exceed $85,000.
We'll bring up Ms. Elena Melton to present this item.
Hey.
Elena Melton, I serve as Director of Special Projects in the Mayor's Office of Government Affairs. I have joining me Ms. Ariel Towner from Jupiter Manor.
Thank you. Madam President, do you have any questions?
Yes, just tell me more about this program, what were the objectives of this, what's in regards to homelessness?
So we've had the fortune to work with you all on a number of projects in your districts around homelessness as it relates to the public nuisance and public safety and encampments in the crime element. We also recognize there's a need to reform some of our existing policies and ordinance. And then there are a number of programs that we have in the pipeline that will need some community engagement to really work with those folks with lived experience. And then we contacted Ariel and her team to help us capacity build around all of those things, really put together an implementation plan. And the biggest part that, as we talk to you all, I'm looking forward to talking to some of you this week, will be around community engagement, particularly with those folks with lived experience. So they're not here to fix all of our problems, but absolutely help us expand our own capacity.
And that community engagement would look like social media, town hall, what would that look like?
So I think that there's still some work we want to do in terms of, we obviously have not been in the throes of this work, and so I think first for us is to really understand the landscape. So anytime we do any type of engagement, we always do a landscape scan to really understand who has been engaged in this work, who has been doing this work, who has been involved, who has been asked about their lived experience as it relates to this work. And so once we have an understanding of where are all the spaces that people have been engaged, then I think we will work with the team to come up with a plan for, is it town halls, is there more community engagement that needs to happen? But I think also important to my twin sister and I, who is the other half of Juniper and Myrtle, is going to spaces and places that people often miss. So part of this, why this work is so important to us, is we were evicted from our apartment when we were in 6th grade, and our school didn't know we were living in a motel, our friends didn't know we were living in a motel, and so I think there are often people, when they think of homelessness, often think about people who are in the park, but there are people who are in your everyday world that you have no idea. And so important to us is going to the schools, shadowing for some time, understand what around this work is showing up at the schools, what's showing up in the clinics, what's showing up in the libraries, what's showing up at the bus stops. Like, we really want to have a deeper understanding of where all the places that this is showing up, so that we can really help identify the root cause and come up with a strategy that really makes sense.
And we do know we have certain agencies that already work within that realm. With some of that community engagement involved, working with them as well.
Absolutely. I mean, part of the way that we approach this work is we don't like reinventing the wheel, and so we see ourselves as connectors. Like, we don't want to be the solution here, we want to be partners in the solutioning. And so for us, core to our work is making sure that we are going to the people who are already doing the work and understanding what their experience, what the breakdowns and gaps are for them, and being partners with them and coming up with solutions here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Abbott.
Well, you just created a lot of new questions for me. So Juniper and Myrtle doesn't have anything to do with homelessness. Y'all don't even have any experiences with the topic of homelessness, except that you have a lived
We have the lived
experience.
experience, and then we've done some community engagement around it.
So what does Juniper and Myrtle do for a living?
This is the more formal version of the work that we do, but I have a decade of experience in healthcare, working for companies providing primary care for folks who are on Medicaid. And my twin sister has experience, she's a journalist by trade, and has experience building capacity for food access in Atlanta. She worked for a nonprofit there doing that work. And so really this Juniper Myrtle is the culmination of both of those experiences to really serve communities through the lens of health equity, with both of our experience in health and food access. Because we know that those are integral to a part of the homeless experience.
Okay, so do you have a copy of the 10-year plan to end homelessness? Do either of you have a copy of it? Good. Maybe you need to share it with her, because
So that's part of our work too, is to take, instead of doing another plan like that, is to take all of these plans and put them together and take the best out of the reports that we currently have in our office.
yeah, because we certainly never implemented the 10-year plan to end homelessness, did we? So I'm still trying to figure out what your company does. So y'all are you're like a consulting business that,
Provides thought partnership and strategic operations around solutions.
okay, so you're going to come up with a set of plans and strategies and recommendations to address homelessness and homeless prevention.
In partnership with you all and the folks who are already doing the work.
Well, it's an enormous problem, and I really thought that y'all were going to be homelessness experts. So I had high hopes, but now I'm going to have high hopes coming from a different direction, because you know, homelessness is like this gigantic problem, and they say that we don't have all that many homeless in Birmingham. Maybe they're just all in my district. But it seems like we've got a lot more than 259 or whatever the last figure I saw that popped out. I think there's more than, I think we have more than we think we have. But that 10-year plan to end homelessness did have a lot of great ideas in it. It's just we never implemented anything as far as I know, unless it was a secret. And of course, this administration certainly didn't have anything to do with not doing anything. Because I think it was during Mayor
It was
Kincaid's
yes, but I think,
that we got it.
I think this is just another tool in our toolbox of trying to remediate homelessness, and along with our CDBG partners, we're just trying to find a solution.
Are we clutching at straws, or
I
we
wouldn't say
think
that.
this is really like,
I think this is something that will assist us along with the other thing that we want to produce and show to the council with the Home for All. It's just another thing that helps in the reduction of homelessness.
so the Homes for All is going to be part of this also? Yeah, well, I'm just struggling with so much homelessness, so many homelessness issues right now that I'm ready to jump out the window, so, you know.
I think we hear you. We hear you.
Well, good. Then I'm going to change my mindset and jump right into this. So, thank you, that answers my questions.
Okay, so the council created a housing and homelessness committee. I was just asked, moving forward, that you would work with them, because that's the whole point why we established the committee, and Madam President kind of made sure that was established.
Would love
So,
to.
yeah, because that's easier to do just those three instead of try to get all 9 of us together with our schedules. I have a couple.
I just want to make sure that Ms. Elena Miller works with you on that committee. I just got the dates from Mr. Maythings. I just want to make sure that we
Okay.
align so we can have things to actually talk about.
Okay, gotcha. Is it just gonna be you and your twin sister doing it? Okay,
But in partnership with all of them and with community development too.
okay, gotcha. So that's probably a team of,
And OCA as well, because they're working with us on some of our ordinances that we have, those that we need to create.
I guess, how many people are gonna do community landscaping then? Like going out and talking to the homeless?
So we've actually been talking about that through community development. There's several different lenses, as you would know. So the community resource officer will be a part of that. We'll also work with their team to create what that plan looks like. And I've had a little bit of conversation with One Roof around that, and they've done some of that locally as well.
Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Where have you done community landscaping before? Like, you say you've done it in the past, what other cities have you done this for?
So not necessarily cities, but I've done landscape scans in terms of like healthcare. So when we're going to launch a clinic, or I'm working with a company that's launching a new offering, helping them understand who is at play, who's already doing the work, who are competitors, who should be partners, what are things that they shouldn't be building themselves versus outsourcing and working with others who will integrate that work in the work that they're doing. So the same skill, but translated in a different context.
Okay, gotcha. And I guess this is a question for the chief or you, Ms. Elena. What about Alchemy? How do they play into this? Because I know we had those meetings with them, and I don't know if they were like a consultant or an organization that's supposed to be implementing it.
They would, if accepted, if their business accepted, it would be more in a consultant capacity.
Okay, so we will have,
Well, I'm sorry, more in a contractual capacity.
okay,
A
gotcha.
little bit of that will come out in our meeting this week, but they put in a bid that I don't really want to.
I got you, so,
Alright,
yeah.
that's fine.
No, I was just wondering, because, we're bringing a consultant in, so I didn't know what role they played in. Okay. I think that's all. Wait, I do have a question. Mayor Woodfin and his, Plan 2025, I think, had homelessness as a section of it. Where are we in that plan of his? Like, have we,
So Home for All is actually one of the things that came out of that with the folks with lived experience. They wanted a unit that had a door where they could lock their things. So that was a part of that.
Okay.
There are other things that are in it, like affordable housing, that was, the committee was actually homelessness and affordable housing. So with the work that community development is doing, the choice grant,
Yeah.
that'll handle that piece.
Okay.
So the other third big rock, we haven't turned the page to would be the one-stop shop. That was
Okay.
what a lot of folks spoke about, wanting a place where all wraparound services would exist in one place.
Okay, good. Okay, because I know sometimes, I don't know if everybody, I'm not talking about here, but just in general, knows about his plan. It was a really good plan, and he had a lot of people in that space to help to make that up. So thank you for that update. And then I have one more, I forgot. Mental illness. When you do your landscaping, I know you guys said there's different types, but I would love to see the plan address those who have mental illness, because a lot of times they may not be, they're not criminals or et cetera. It's just, they just need some type of treatment. So I guess, and also how to address people who may not want to get treatment the first time around. Like, what's our plan? What's our backup plan? So,
It's one of the things we've been talking a lot about,
Yeah.
especially with my background in healthcare. I know that this is an issue that comes up quite a bit, and so that's one of the things that we've been talking about, is how we work with the public health department and others to make sure that people get the access to the care that they need, because that's definitely a part of it.
Counselor, do you have any question? Counselor Abbott, you look like you have a question.
Well, I'm just back to homelessness. Did we talk to some people who actually have a background in homelessness and have done this in other cities? And, you know,
So, yes, that was a little bit of part of the meeting, and I know your thoughts, but with like Urban Alchemy and others. But also, we're not leaving our current partners at the table. This is an effort to get all the folks in the work, that are doing the work in the spaces locally together as well.
under one roof?
Absolutely. And but to that point, also working with our continuum of care as well. Like, this is how we bring all of us together. Get your thoughts as well as a council, so that we can have one plan that really works. And I do want to stress that we're not necessarily looking to get a plan. We have been working with our continuum of care already on existing plans nationally and locally to do a crosswork of sorts that we can kind of pass and let them see, hey, this is the work that has been done that even predates us, but how do we take this and take the best out of all of these plans and create something that will actually work in Birmingham? So this won't be done in a vacuum.
Is PEP in on this?
They are on this. They're in lockstep with Home for All, as well as the ordinance, because one of the biggest ones I know in your district has been the unsheltered on private property. So we've been working with PEP and OCA a lot on what can we do around an ordinance or serving notice to those folks who don't live in the space that they're occupying. Not necessarily squatters, it's another conversation,
Yeah.
but people who live, take residence in folks' yards and cars and whatnot. We don't currently have a plan to serve notice to them when we cannot reach out to the home, to the property owner. So PEP has been very helpful in that.
Good. Glad to hear it. Okay, nothing I say is gonna add to this, so I'm just going to be quiet and wait and see what happens.
And what's the timeline for this?
November to April.
November to April.
What you'll see in the packet is older, because we wanted to be here longer and everyone challenged. So this is an updated copy of the
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Madam President, are you good? Okay.
I have another question.
Councilor.
Okay, so the commitment from the administration is to spend this $85,000 and then, do stuff.
Yes.
Implement, take action. All we'd have to do is put somebody in our city jail for one night, and they'd never do anything bad again in their whole lives. So we have an incentive program already.
I think it is, but I think it's more than just giving people 3 hats and a kite. It's more like Mr. Melvin said, wraparound services are more important when it comes to homelessness.
Yeah,
We get-
but I mean, you know, the 10-year plan to end homeless was in my first term. Do you know how old I am now? And we still
I
have
know
the
that you're 55, I got you.
same problems all those
Well,
years.
Council, I think.
I just want your commitment that this is not gonna be another dusty
No, so-
binder on a shelf.
I can speak very candidly with you and the council in this community that this administration has put forth a lot of efforts to not only end homelessness, but everything that we have done from school services, wraparound services, garbage, everything we have tried in our best efforts to do. I guarantee this is something that we will do our best efforts to try to remediate, yes. I think you can attest to that too, council.
Oh, I've got Ross Rehab in my residential neighborhood, so don't be telling me that I can attest to anything because people are ready to just do bad things because of the city's actions. So, okay, thank you, I'm ready to vote.
Wait, I guess more of a comment. So I was at the Pancake House for a breakfast meeting, and there was actually a homeless person in there. He would not leave. And so I asked him, I said, hey, I said, hey, how often does it happen? She said 15 times, maybe not 15, but she said this is daily. She said, I'll call the police, sometimes they come, sometimes they won't. I guess also in your plan, can you consider situations like that as well? Like how do you address that without being too forceful, or how do you move them along? Because he literally was just sitting there and just wouldn't move.
So we've been working with the Southside Business a little bit and the police department directly. We're really excited about CAP coming to help
Me too.
with the police work over there, but just continuing to get and to spread the message to the merchants that sometimes in our helpfulness and our thoughtfulness, we're actually not helping the situation because we continue to feed and give money as opposed to point to places who can give you a lot more than a meal. And so that's probably like a whole education plan that we need to roll out to let our citizens know like ways that we can be the most helpful. But those are the kind of conversations we've been having in business in the South Side and in the downtown footprint.
Okay, that's good. I'm happy with that. Yes.
Council, I'm glad you brought up that point, because remember when we were in DC and we were on our way to meet with one of our congressmen, we had a business owner that was there to even talk about this subject and trying to get federal help. So I would hope that that community engagement piece would include dialogue with the businesses and what they're, what's happening there or causing them problems. We could come up with a good solution.
Thank you. Council, are you good, Council Adam? Is your question? Oh.
I'm fine. I'm as fine as I'm gonna get.
I
mean, you have to understand, half of the email I get is about this issue and drugs, and mainly drugs and homelessness, but there's a lot of other stuff too. But it's just half of the voluminous emails are all about the same topic. So of course, after a while, you just feel like nobody's doing a blankety blank thing, and they say put up no trespassing signs, but the police say they can't do anything. So what was the point? What was the point of getting people's hopes up by saying if you put up no trespassing signs, the police can take care of it? They can't take care of it. They can't, or they won't. So, yeah, I'm fine.
Understand. Is there a motion?
We just ready for the vote?
I don't remember. It
We
wasn't.
didn't, I thought we did. I thought that's what we brought up.
No.
Okay. Move the item.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
I abstain.
That's 2 ayes and 1 abstention. Thank you guys so much. We look forward to working with you. Next item is item number 10. This is for the Magic City Toy Drive. Mr. McDaniels told me that the code number is wrong. It's actually 11-40-1 and 38-2-9. And this is, the mayor is authorized to solicit donations and participation of citizens and local vendors in marketing. They'll be using it to donate toys and other items for kids in need reside within the city, and it shall not exceed $10,000. Okay. Chief Moon and friends. Can you tell us your name and department?
Yes, I'm Tracy Bennett. I serve as Deputy Director for the Department of Youth Services.
I'm Lieutenant Reba Palmer with the Birmingham Police Department.
I'm Corey Moon. I serve as the Fire Chief of Birmingham Fire Rescue Service.
Okay. So can you guys tell us a little bit about the toy drive?
So the Magic City Toy Drive is a collaboration between the Police Department, Youth Services, and the Fire Department, and along with a local news affiliate and AmFirst Credit Union. We solicit donations and provide new and unwrapped toys and bicycles to youth and families who are low to moderately low income.
Okay. Madam President?
Yes, hi. Very familiar with this, of course, this has been around for quite some time. I just want to know, of the $10,000, what's the percentage that's used for the billboards and the ads? And if any of this goes towards the actual purchase of toys, or is this used to motivate people to give?
So there's actually not very much out-of-pocket cost for this. We do purchase donation boxes as well as the bags to pack up the toys. That's the only purchases that we make. Our news affiliate will kind of provide the in-kind promotion on television.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Abbott?
Okay, that was my question too, is what will the $10,000 actually be used for?
And it will not be anywhere near $10,000.
This cannot exceed.
Right.
Yeah, so we purchase donation boxes and bags, and that's it, that's coming out of the $10,000.
Yes.
So we're not gonna pay any money for those billboards.
No.
At least that's good. Okay, that was my question.
Okay. Okay.
Vote the aye.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The item passes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Next is item number 11.
We're gonna ask for that to be withdrawn.
Okay. That's fine. Next is item 13. This is a redevelopment agreement with Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, under which Alpha will undertake a project to refurbish and transform the former AM South Bank Building located at 707 20th Street, Inslee, Birmingham, Alabama 35218. And it will be developed into a multi-purpose event center. And the city has agreed to make the property available to Alpha at a use value of $150,000 in support of the project. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, councilors. For your records, my name is Janice James Dahlberg. I serve as real estate manager in the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. Today, we're asking your support and approval for the sale of 707 20th Street, Inslee, to the Alphas, Alpha Phi Alpha, the New Side Lambda chapter. There's several other members here, Bobby Jackson, Michael Sean, and there are two others that's representing the organization that's here, in case you have some detailed questions for the organization. The building is kind of blighted at this time, so they will be definitely removing the blight and bringing life back to that corner of the Inslee community. The organization has been very active in Inslee, and this is why now they actually need a permanent place, and this was the opportunity for them to be able to be located in a building, own it, and be able to do some other functions to better serve the community, more than what they've been doing over the past years. We can have them speak on,
Yes.
on the
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If y'all want to come up too, it's whoever wants to come up.
Jackson, shine ain't me.
We've been a part of servicing the Inslee community for over 20 years now. We have an opportunity, hopefully we have an opportunity to grow what we've been doing in the community. We have our Lead Academy where we work with young high school men. We mentor them. We have our turkey giveaway that's coming up in November. We're always on TV. The community has been very supportive of the work that we do in the Inslee area, and we just want to increase the services that we're giving them. And we're hoping that with this facility, we can grow our services.
Okay, thank you. Do y'all have a presentation or something? A little
I
packet?
think if the committee has any questions about.
Okay, that's fine. Well, councilors, do you have any questions? Council Abbott?
Did we do an appraisal of this property?
We have an appraisal, I think, Alan sent it up, but if not, I have,
It's in the packet.
It's in your packet, but I know Ms. Janice has the actual.
I have a copy here with me, but we sent it in your packet, but if not, we'll make sure you have it.
You can
It's
give it a
interesting, I read my packet, but I didn't see it.
No, you
But I
didn't
may
see it.
just not be able to see it anymore. If you'll just let me look at yours.
I'm not gonna say you can't see it anymore, man, we
Yeah.
just said that.
But Janice, go ahead and tell the appraisal.
Yeah.
The top, the price for $250,000.
Yeah, here it is on page 1, thank you. Okay, and then other
And we
questions.
also have some, the building has a lot of, since we've acquired it, it's been vandalized, so all of the electrical and plumbing, some of the other mechanicals, would need to be replaced, so they have to come in and actually do a lot to bring it back up to code and to be able to start doing the good things in that community that they will be doing. And I just had pictures of, their inspection showing, where some of the electrical and items that were removed, and give you an idea. And those are very expensive items where you have to go back and redo all electrical and another mechanical work.
So, okay, yeah, keep going.
So how did the city end up owning the building that was a Regions Bank or AmSouth Bank?
After AmSouth closed, whatever, PNS Transportation owned that building, and that's where we did a land swap with them. They bought several properties, in Inslee on the 4th Avenue side. And for one of our properties, we did a land swap for the Bethesda building, and they got the Bethesda, and we got this building. So it came from
Lucky us.
Yeah, it was a much better, their building was much better than the one we had to give them, but they needed that area to complete what they needed to do.
Okay, well, so the next question is for Mr. Jackson. So you're going to turn this into like a headquarters for Alpha Phi Alpha's activities in the Inslee area? I mean, it's not gonna be an event center where they just have loud music and
No, ma'am.
people hanging around.
No, ma'am. I'm also-
Not that kind of event
No,
center.
man. Our main focus is to help the young men in the community and continue to help the community to grow. We help with voter registration, we help with cleanups, we help, like I said, with the turkey giveaway. So we do a lot of work in the community. It's just hard doing it out of, when you don't have a
The
location.
trunk
to
in
do
the
it.
car.
Right. So we finally have the opportunity, and we're hoping you'll help us out with that.
Yeah, I think this sounds like a great idea. It was just, the little description wasn't as good as hearing from y'all.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
can't get that much in a little tiny space, but event center didn't sound good. But a headquarters for your
Yes, ma'am.
charitable activities sounds real good.
We'll change it.
We'll change it.
Whatever you want, Council.
Well, event center's beginning to have a bad connotation, so,
Duly noted.
but I'm good.
Okay, President Alexander?
Thank you. Like Mrs. Abbott, she asked this question, it was just about the name, and I'm familiar with the use of how organizations like this will buy a facility and make it part of the community, but I will be honest, I thought, are you looking for meeting space and a space to operate
Meeting space
your
is all.
services from
Yes, ma'am.
versus just events?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And I did have a question, now that I've seen this, the property inspection report. It looks like some of your restoration is gonna be quite extensive, or have you kind of costed this?
We're going to try to get that done. We have a general contractor. We're going to try to get that done this week so we can get an estimated cost of how much they came in. Whoever came in and took all the copper out.
Wow.
So the copper piping is gone. It wasn't like that the first time we went in to see it, but the last time it was like that. So we're going to get an estimate and see what we can do with that.
Okay. I'm glad to see that coming to that area, and that, again, it just enhances what you're already doing.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited about, part of the revitalization of that area for Inslee. And, Madam President and I are a part organization, so we know the importance of having a house, whether it's for meeting or having your lead academy coming in there, so, I understand, basically. Okay, is there a motion and a second?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The item passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is item number 14. This is a professional services agreement with Roadway Asset Services LLC. Project management, GIS consulting and cleanup services, field setup and GPS network creation, field data collection and evaluation, analysis and reporting, and transportation, implementation, and training for a term of 3 years, for an amount not to exceed $426,980.
I'll bring up Mr. Collins, and we'll tag team this. I'll just do a quick introduction. So this is basically what we asked the council in the budget last year for $500,000 for our strategic pavement system. So this presentation that Mr. Alexander will give is just an update of what we went through with the RFP and the vendor that we've chosen to help and assist developing a rating system for our streets. And so we can use data instead of complaints to drive how we do street repaving and maintenance for the long term. So I'll yield over to Mr. Alexander.
Sure, and good afternoon. I'm Colin Alexander. I serve as Senior Planner with the Birmingham Department of Transportation. So as Chief Mitchell explained, this is the result of the funding that the council dedicated for pavement management last year. We spent last year doing a lot of research on these kind of programs nationwide, peer cities, research, developed an RFP, went through an RFP process through May and June. We got 4 applicants and we selected Roadway Asset Services. The selection committee included representatives from BDOT, PEP, and Capital Projects. So Roadway Asset Services is a company that's based out of Texas. They do this kind of work in a lot of places. They do it actually in 10 of the top 20 largest metros in the U.S. Cities that they've worked in include Memphis, Charlotte, Denver, and Salt Lake City. The company is going to go out there, an engineering company. They're going to go out with their own trucks. They're going to do a scan of all of our city's roadways, including alleyways, all the locally controlled roadways, I should say. They're going to use a 360-degree camera on top of the vehicle, a camera on the front of the vehicle, as well as laser measurements of cracks and other issues in the roadway. Using that, they're going to establish what's called a pavement condition index, or a PCI score, for all of the roads that we locally control in the city limits. So that's a scale of 1 to 100. We are then going to use that and get an overall score for the city, as well as an overall score for each of the council districts. And then from there, all that information is going to be uploaded into a program that they're subcontracting with called StreetLogix. StreetLogix is going to take all that information, it's going to generate maps, and we're going to be able to scenario out based on available budget and target scores to help figure out which roads we should be paving each year in order to meet our target goals based on the available funding. So that software is going to become the management tool that we're going to start using going forward to select our paving packages going forward.
Okay, that's great. Madam President?
Yes, glad to hear this. I'm sure you're aware how often just about every neighborhood meeting that I attended, questions about the current paving list, and then how, if it's been, formulated over a 5-year period, and then there's deterioration, there's problems that exist. So how will this integrate with the current, or where are we with the 5-year?
So we still have available data from the former 5-year plan. That scan, which was about half the city road mile-wise, That data is from 2015. So we're going to take the remaining data and kind of cross-reference that to see if any of that data is still usable. So any of that will be deducted from the scan. We anticipate that most of it will need to be rescanned, given that we're talking 5, 6, 7 years ago. So that's the starting point of that. We're still using that plan as the guiding process to develop our paving packages until we get this program up and running. So we'll continue to use it for next year's paving package, and then we'll transition once we collect this data over the course of this calendar year, so that in 2025, we'll start launching packages based on the data that we've collected.
Okay, 'cause that was gonna be my other question. I know we're entering into this contract for a term of 3 years.
Yes.
But I just wondered, as part of the plan, how long would it take to conduct the assessment?
Sure, so they're gonna go out and start scanning in the fall as soon as we get this contract worked through, and they'll go through the fall and early spring. We're hoping that we'll be done probably around May, June, at which point we'll start uploading data and evaluating it in StreetLogix, so that we can start producing our package in late fall like we typically have been doing, preparing for the spring. The 3-year contract, part of what we're envisioning is one scan that gives us 2 years to work out 2 pavement packages on that scan, and then we will do another RFP to do the same system, and we go back to the RFP process to do another scan. We feel a scan every 3 years is about the appropriate time frame. We want to give it a chance to actually use the data, but we also don't want to wait 6, 7, 8 years going back and scanning because the data can become outdated.
And just one final question, how will you deploy this? Would this be by districts or by quadrants, northeast, southwest? Or
In terms of the actual pavement work or in terms of the
in
scanning?
terms of the scan?
So they're going to go out in the entire district. We haven't developed because we're still waiting to execute the agreement. We haven't developed the workflow process yet with the contractor, but they're going to go out and scan the entire city. So it's not going to be like we did in 2015 where we put a set number of miles and tried to capture a rough estimate. It will be the entire city being inventoried.
And,
Madam President, I just want to make sure that we because I know, I think, I hear what you're saying, because we're working with them for it to overlay with our GIS system, so you'll be able to see the actual ratings of the street.
exactly.
Good.
That's helpful too,
Yeah.
because then, you think we could put the names of the street and throw them up in the hat, and then we say, oh, you're gonna pay this, this, this,
Yeah,
this.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, I'll let that.
Councilor Ackland.
Okay, so these people are going to go through and they have, I guess, trucks that they drive through that actually scan the pavement and see what the situation is. And then they're going to rate the streets from 1 to 100.
From 0 to 100, exactly. So that's a national engineering standard, the PCI scores. So 100 being a road that just got paved yesterday, has no defections, 0 being a complete rebuild.
Okay. So on streets where we have allowed the paving people to pave them up until they come to the top of the curve, are these people going to make any commentary on that where our pavement is now, 9 inches thick and the sewers don't work and there are other problems because of our sort of inattention?
So we will be able to have visual sight of all of that information, and we'll be able to evaluate from there because the trucks are going to have a 360-degree camera on top. So we'll be able to take all that information and dissect it ourselves with the consultant and kind of make recommendations from there.
Will they be able to see down through the pavement to see what's under it? Do they have like equipment that, like radar or something where they can?
LiDAR.
Yeah, we're not using LiDAR or ground penetrating radar. It's a laser system that's going to be able to tell us information.
Yeah. So there's some interesting stuff under there. But we do have a lot of streets, so it's not that the paving is bad, it's that we've let people pave and pave and pave and pave without ever removing anything, and now you can't find our curbs because the paving, it's pretty crazy, but, that kind of thing needs to be fixed also. And then is there any way in this plan, we have a lot of people who dig up our streets with no authority to do so. They just show up with a backhoe and start digging, throw a few cones around, and then they make a big mess and they leave. And of course, they never come back. they leave it for us to fix. So do y'all have, certainly this program isn't gonna tell who's doing this stuff, but do y'all have any plans to figure that out?
We are, and we're looking at, came up on Transportation Committee too. So there are, I know these are concerns, the council's concerns of our department as well, and we're working through things like our excavation ordinance to try to see where we can improve. That's an active process that's gonna be separate from this effort. But yes, we are aware of that problem and trying to come up with solutions.
Well, if we hold the property owner who hired them, if we were to hold them responsible, maybe they would suddenly remember which plumbing company they hired. Because sometimes they forget. And they just leave it to the city to repair the mess that their plumber that they don't know who he was, made. And if we come up with a way to hold people responsible for what they do, that would be so wonderful.
Yeah, it's to further this point, and it was brought up at transportation, we just need to revisit the Article H excavation ordinance and work with the council, the PIC committee to put more teeth in it. And along with the VDOT and their inspectors and engineers, we need a little bit more help in that area so we can be more prudent in our code enforcement efforts.
Well, and if all the departments would talk to each other, certainly if a police officer's out patrolling and he goes past somebody who's digging up our street, there was a hotline he could call and say, do these people have a permit? That might save a lot of grief down the road because someone could come out and catch them immediately before they have a chance to cover the hole up.
Let's put it in the ordinance. We can probably overlay it with our C-Click fix, or what's it called? My Birmingham 311.
My Birmingham 311,
Right.
yes. More cameras and more catching. Okay, well, I think this sounds great. I'm ready for them to come to my district.
I did all that.
The rating of, 1 to 5 that we used to use, or 1 to 4?
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Sorry, Council Ward. We still cool.
You don't watch no more. Okay, are you good?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, okay.
I move approval,
I-
just in case.
Oh, yes.
I did have one more comment, I'm sorry, just for the council's clarification. The funding source, it needs to be corrected and will be for the council meeting.
Okay.
It's gonna be from the account that was set up with the council budget for this project.
Okay.
So there was just some indication on that, the funding account, but I just wanted to clarify that before. But that'll be corrected for next week's council agenda.
Okay, thank you. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Item number 14 passes.
Thank you.
Yay. I know there's a big yay. Jumping up and down the side. Item 18, this is an agreement between City of Birmingham and Bridge and Root. And this will undertake a project that will involve the hiring of an additional 2 employees. They are an upscale men's boutique located in downtown Birmingham at 2212 Morris Avenue, Suite 200, 1 style expert and 1 executive assistant, and the implementation of a mental health initiative known as The Lounge, which will provide a safe space that will bring men together to discuss difficult topics streamed across multiple platforms with a psychologist. And the city will provide financial incentives to Bridge and Root under the RISE program in the amount of $15,000 in support of the project. Okay.
Well, good evening once again. My name is Cornell Wesley, proudly serve as the Director for the Office of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. We have another RISE candidate here, eagerly presented before you. Again, RISE stands for Retention, Incentives for Success and Expansion. Ms. Aisha Taylor has been in business at Bridge and Root on First Avenue North in one of our newer developments. I believe that's called Mercantile on Morris, which houses several other retailers in that space. As you can see, she is one of our minority-owned businesses, has been successful, and we'll brag on her for a moment, as she was recently awarded the Alabama Retailer of the Year. So definitely want to commend her for that, right here in the heart of Birmingham. And so with this $15,000, as the ordinance justifies and indicates, for hiring and expansion and or purchase of equipment, so the use of the proceeds are in line for what the ordinance it allows. So we eagerly support this $15,000 investment for the retention incentive for Ms. Aisha Taylor. So we'd love for her to give you a little bit about her business and her success here in Birmingham.
Yes.
So again, hello. My name is Aisha Taylor. I'm the founder and CEO of Bridge and Root, which is an upscale meals boutique located in the heart of downtown Birmingham. And so right now, what we are looking to do is scale our business. We have several people that come to visit us, but right now we are looking to expand. And in order to do that, we need more inventory. We need inventory to meet the demand of the people that are coming in right now. And as it was mentioned, another thing that we are really wanting to pour into is our initiative, our mental health initiative, which we call the Lounge, which brings men into the shop to talk about difficult topics because I don't know if you all know this or not, but men have the highest rate of suicide. So that's something that I would like to try to help combat. And so, yeah, I'm bringing on a couple of new employees, so that's kind of where we are right now.
Thank you. Council Abbott, do you have any questions?
Well, I do, because we heard this the other day, and I didn't hear, I don't know what happened to me. I didn't hear the thing about the psychologist and the men discussing difficult topics. Don't know what happened. So how is that going to work? Will these be regularly scheduled things that are advertised on the internet and people just show up, or will this be more informal, or?
So I don't want to say it's going to be informal, it's going to be formalized, but it's going to be every other month. And we will have a set number of guys that we will pre-select to be present. And so how these funds will help is that we want to, I can't think of the word, string. We want to string this so that we can touch more people, because that's ultimately our goal, to touch more people and so that it can be shared.
Okay, so the people you'll invite to be maybe more like a panel thing where these won't be just somebody you found out on the street.
No.
These will be people who,
They're going to certainly be.
they might work at City Hall or something.
Definitely. These are guys that we've already had conversations with, already had these conversations, these topics, talked about them. Entrepreneurs that are within the city that we've talked to that are really also invested in mental health.
Okay, and the psychologist would be there with them, or would
Yeah,
be?
they're going to be there. It's actually a young lady. She's going to be there to help facilitate the process.
Sounds interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome, Madam President.
Yes, so just want to go back and get you to clarify a little bit more. Your intended audience are men who might be going through these issues that could benefit from this mental health intervention or awareness. So with these won't necessarily, I'm going to answer the question, but these just won't be your customers. You've got people that you will be seeking out to get this type of service, right?
The guys that will be on the panel per se, it's going to be, the reason I named it the Lounge is because it's going to be more of a relaxed setting. It's not going to be on the stage. I want people to feel comfortable watching and feel connected to the people that are actually speaking. So we're actually trying to reach as many men as possible. That's why we really want to invest in getting a streaming company.
And the engagement of the psychologist will be to also, would it be to assist them in how to find the resources they need to help with anxiety or the problems that they're
as well as if there's a topic that comes up, maybe she can, let's look at it this way, let's look at it a different way, just kind of really talking them through the topics and the conversations that we're going to have.
And you said this will be every other month?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do y'all have any more? Yeah. Okay. Is there a motion and a second?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Item number 18 passes. Thank you. And congratulations again. And the last item is item number 21. This is to amend the general fund budget by transferring $595,200 from IMS professional services and $45,600 from PEP professional services, appropriating $640,800 to non-departmental transfer to Fund 102 Capital Improvement, and amend the Capital Improvement Fund for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024 by appropriating $445,200 to IMS iSeek Solutions, $150,000 to IMS I6 Solutions, BPD, the other one's IMS, and $45,600 to IMS I6 Solutions, PEP.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Melanie Harris, I serve as Deputy Director in IMS.
Madam President?
Yes, thank you. So this really will be for solutions that will be used for IMS, BPD, and PEP only?
Yes.
Okay, and is this, as a capital improvement, just tell me, what are you gonna be doing with this?
So the I-Seek Solutions provides project management oversight. We currently already have a contract with them for IMS and BPD, and we're adding one for PEP. The reason it's in capital is it's going to extend past June. So we wanted to make sure that funds stay available for the entirety of the year.
And so these services will be, they'll be dealing with capital improvement projects that are within these three areas, or?
It's not capital improvement.
So what is that? Tell me again.
So it's project management, so
Okay,
right
project.
now they're working with PEP on the Excel project, getting all of their permits set up online. And then with BPD, we just did an upgrade and they've got a bunch of projects that they're managing over there. And for us, we've got website revamp, and we've got, just various projects that they're.
And more project management.
Yeah,
That's-
Yes,
it's all project.
it's all project management.
That's what I just need to know. Thank you.
Okay.
Council Abbott?
Yeah, so the I-Seek Solutions people have project management software, and this is teaching people how to use
It's
it, or?
not the software,
It's
it's
not
actual people.
People on the ground. They're,
Project
they're,
managers.
they're helping as consultants, as project managers, to help us get through.
Because we don't have the
completion.
staffing
Yeah,
in
we don't have
IMS
to.
to do that right
Oh, okay, they're not teaching our people how to do project management, they're doing
Yeah,
project
They
management
provide
for,
training for project management, but
but that's not what
not
this
what
is.
this is.
Okay, so this is, they're providing project managers to help us get our act together.
To help us get to a point of completion, so we can
Mm-hmm.
be in.
Completing, get our act together.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, so you said PEP, it's the Excella project, and that's getting permits online?
Yes.
That's a multi-phase project, we're in phase 2 of that.
How many phases does it have? Oh, okay, well, getting close. Okay, I think that was all my questions.
Okay, well, I don't have any questions, are you? Council Abbott, do you have any more questions? You're good, okay.
I'm good.
Okay, is there a motion and a second?
I move approval.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item number 21 passes. We don't have any old or new business. The next Budget and Finance Committee meeting will be on Monday, October 23rd at 3:30 p.m. Is there a motion for adjournment?
I move that we adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. This is interesting. 'Cause I was reading that backup stuff and they